Hi guys, my name is Siyabonga Mbaba. This is Heavy Chef. Today we'll be chatting to Ayabonga Gope. He's a chef and he's gonna share his story, how he became a chef, coming from a Khayelitsha, one of the largest townships in South Africa. And now he's a private chef that is celebrated all over South Africa. Ayabonga, welcome to the show, at Heavy Chef.
Thanks for having me, man.
You come from a Khayelitsha, we're both coming from a Khayelitsha.
Yeah.
Where people think that there's no dreamers, there's no
Yeah.
people who can be successful or become a chef.
Yeah.
So can you tell us more about yourself and your background?
With what you're saying, it's true. I mean, I remember growing up, I grew up with that same mindset as well.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I've always loved was to have fun and go out and all of that.
Sure.
This is like middle of my story, but I'll go back to where it all started, becoming a chef. But the only thing that I've always tried to avoid was because I loved having fun so much, I never wanted to go to my parents and ask for money to go out and have fun, because I knew that they were going through a lot of stuff, so I can't go ask for money, whereby money can be used for groceries, Then I started looking for jobs and, as a cleaner and all of that. I really love going out, so I wanted to make sure that I do have money to go out. But me becoming a chef, it was a thing of, I stayed with my mom only, growing up. And when I was 5, she was working 2 jobs and she would come back home at like 8 or 9 in the evening.
Yeah.
So with that, she didn't have time to make food for us, like supper, when she comes back home late.
So you had to cook for yourself?
Yes, but I mean, she suggested that she'll teach me how to make rice. And then when she comes back from work, she'll make like a gravy or whatever we can have rice with. But she would come and make eggs, and then we'd have eggs and rice and tomato sauce, which is something that I always celebrate. Till today, it's my favorite thing to eat. If you ask me what's my favorite thing to eat, I'll say it's that. But yeah, and then from there, I started playing around. I was that kid growing up who would like, okay, cool, you get 2 potatoes from home, you bring onions, you do this, you do that.
We used to call it poppies, I think,
exactly,
at the time.
exactly. And then we'll collect like the cans, the coffee cans and cool beans cans, and then we'll go to the bushes and then we'll cook. For me, it was just, I wanted to have food around me. I never had food at home growing, So I just wanted to play around with food. And for me, I've realized that food is the safest way of always surviving. But I didn't even know that you can make cooking a thing as a career.
Sure.
Up until my mom suggested that I do it.
Because I was wondering, because when you're coming from a Khayelitsha or any township, because in my house, we never had like a table where we can have maybe a starter, a main meal.
No one has that.
So I'm like, what inspired you to just start and say, okay, I'm gonna just do this thing?
No, there's my story is very long, and also the fact that I've never done anything else apart from being a chef.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, I did it, and then she suggested that I do it because I mean, in high school, when you're doing matric and then you have to go apply in varsities because what you're gonna do after matric. And then she asked me, okay, I'll go around saying, I'll come back home late and say, yo, mama, this guy applied for this. You know how your friends are where you come back home late because you had to go with your friend to UCT, they apply there to UWC, and then I'll get home excited. Yo, mama, this guy is applying for this one is applying for that. And then she'll be like, what about you? What are you doing next year? And then I was like, I don't know.
So you never dream of becoming a chef?
No. I mean, I didn't even know that you can make it a career. It could be something that you can earn a living out of.
Okay.
I mean, for the longest of time, I've been so embarrassed of being a chef. I loved it for myself. It was my escape circle. It was my escape
Your comfort zone.
Not more of my comfort zone, but it was more space of I feel protected, But it was just for myself and my happiness.
Okay.
Because I felt like being a chef, I mean, a lot of chefing, you don't need to go to school, well, I didn't know that back in the days. And then when I did, and I went to study it, and the fact that you walk around seeing people wearing chef jackets and all of that, and you think of how you worked hard to earn that chef jacket, And it was a thing of, I'm always a person who likes to shine in good things. But for some reason with chefing, I was kind of embarrassed to let people in that space of me being a chef. I remember, because I said earlier on that I love going out and having fun. I mean, we go out and you meet a lot of creatives and everyone asks you what you do. And my style, how I dress. I'm like dirty, I'm like straight, and I'm all of that.
Okay, I think we're going to get there. You just mentioned something about education. So, where did you go to school for chefing, and also did you get a bursary?
You know,
How did you find out?
that's a very difficult one to answer. You know, especially when people ask me. You know, I get a lot of kids who would ask me what school did I go to and
Yeah.
all of that. And to be quite honest with you, I don't even think the school that I went to still exists. It exists. I
Reasons?
mean, it was a chefs and hospitality skills academy. But the beauty about the culinary space is that, like government schools, when you're doing your matric,
Yeah.
your matric exams get set, and then everyone in the country writes the same paper.
Okay.
So with the culinary side of it all, we have this thing called City and Guilds, and City and Guilds, it's based in the UK, and City and Guilds sets all the exam papers for culinary schools that are in South Africa or
internationally.
Exactly, whereby you can work internationally. But also now government is coming up with their own thing that they kind of set up the whole curriculum, but it only works, I think, in South Africa. So awesome. I was just so grateful that the school that I went to was set by City and Guilds. But also going back to the idea of one believing in something or having faith in whatever or how the universe works. I remember I was so desperate for school, and I would go online searching for schools, and these schools are so expensive. Like, I never understood why culinary schools are so expensive. You'll find out that for a year you have to pay like 100K, you know. And I didn't even go to my parents and say the school is this much, because I was like, where are they going to get the money? You know what I mean? So I remember sitting at home going through a newspaper. It sounds like when I say it, it doesn't sound real, because I mean, it sounds so cliche, because a lot of people, they have these stories, and you're like, no, man, really, is that how it happened? You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. So I went through these papers, and then I saw these schools being advertised. I took my phone, and for some reason I called this girl, this number, and then this lady's like, oh yeah, do you have a second? If you have a chance, can we meet? I'm like, okay, cool, can we meet like in the next hour? Because my thing is, I need to go to school, I need to do something.
You're desperate to do something.
I can't stay in home. The one thing that I wanted to avoid is that, because we know at Khayelitsha, we have a lot of kids our age, you know, our friends who are sitting in the corner and always asking for 50 cents from guys who are passing. I've never wanted to do that. But I do it with them because it's fun, but also at the same time, I want them to kind of see that you can always move away from that corner. You can go to that corner as a tradition for you and your friends. So I needed a school desperately. And then I called this lady, I met up with this lady only to find out that she was a principal at one of these big culinary schools that are everywhere in South Africa right now. And then she decided to open her own thing. Okay, cool. How much is a year? It was like 80K. I was like, yo. And then she's like, okay, cool, you know what? Write a story, like a motivational letter of some sort. And I'm like, me and writing, fam.
So, yeah.
So, and then I remember sitting at home thinking to myself, what am I going to write about? And then I was like, you know what, let me just write about, let me reflect on my story, because I've never had a chance of reflecting growing up from where I started to where I'm at right now, and my responsibilities that I had at home, and having to quit other things that I really, really loved to just take off the family because my parents are not around. So I wrote about my story, and it made sense to me at that moment. Like, I wrote, it was like 2 or 3 pages, and I never wrote such, like big words like that. And then I gave her the letter, and then she read the letter, cried, and then she was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll let you study with me for a year for free. Free everything, your school books, your uniforms, your knives, and all of that.
So everything was paid for?
Everything was paid for. I must just help him push the school, because it's a new school, and then she wanted to market
promote
the school. So you know, she will give pamphlets, and then you have to go stand in the robot signing out pamphlets. Whenever there are talks at school, you have to go help her out and like sorting out paperwork to promote the school. So I was just there. I was that kid who was like, you know, at workplaces you have a cleaner and all of that. So I was like that student who is still like a cleaner or whatever.
So you were doing basically everything.
I was willing to do everything to make it work for myself.
Yeah. And
then she was like, at the same time, because what you do, you do theory for 6 months, and then you do a practicals for another 6 months. So your practicals are for the other 6 months. They take you to the industry, where you have to work your first work now in hotels and everything, and you earn money.
All right.
So the idea was to save the money that I was making from the hotels and pay for my following year now, which is going to be my 2nd year there. And then I did that. Long story short, you won't believe right now that the school is not longer there anymore.
So you
and I'm the only guy that's still standing who's still a chef from that school. But do you see where I'm going with this?
So
I needed a school.
Basically, the school was designed for you. It was made for you.
Not designed for me, but I mean, with how the universe works, I don't know what you believe in, if you believe in God or whatever. I was desperate for a school. I needed a school, and I was willing to put in the work. I was willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that I'm not going to stay home and end up being like other people. I'm not judging them, but I mean, where there's a will, there's really a way. So I needed a school. The school came. I studied. I finished. I got my qualifications, and then the school disappeared after that.
Can you talk about your working? Like, have you worked for anyone before, and what's the story behind?
So I've worked for a lot of people, but I've never lasted in jobs because I would get bored easy. Because my thing is all about learning. If I don't learn anything from you, for me, it means it's a waste of time. And also, I believe in the kitchen, there's always something to learn every day. If you're going to work in the kitchen and not learn anything, you might as well go home and sit home.
Okay.
You know? So I've worked in a lot of different places, but there's only two of those places that I stayed the longest, which was like 4 years, and then the other one was like 2 years. But I mean, I've worked in a lot of different spaces. And also you must realize how everything that we do, the industries that we're in, they have different pockets.
Okay.
Like with what I do, I'm a chef, but you can always work privately, you can work in restaurants, you can work in hotels, you can work in farms and all of that. But
so there's options that you can choose.
There's options. So, but my thing was when I was working for people, it was, you know, when you woke up in the morning and you feel like you are going to be brutally abused.
Okay.
The feeling of being scared of going somewhere, that was me. But I loved what I do, but I was just scared of going to work. I mean, I remember asking a lot of people and also researching a lot. I wanted to find out answers of how do you know if you are doing something that you love? How do you know if you are at the peak of this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I just need now more motivation to keep on doing it, you know? And then I was like, before I quit doing it, a lot of, you know, with work, sometimes people that you work with, they will drive you to the core of wanting to stop and not pursue your dream because they'll treat you bad and tell you things that will make you feel down and all of that, you know. So I was like, you know what, before I decide to switch the light off in this particular case, let me just rather try to go in all the rooms of this industry and see where do I fit perfectly. So that's...
So you decided to stop or resign from the job?
No, I didn't resign. Because the bosses love me a lot. I was like, you know, I would get high posts and all of that, you know. But I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to try hotels, see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to go to catering. I'm going to go to events. I'm going to do restaurants. And then I ended up doing private chef as well because private chefing was my last thing. And I started it 2 years ago. Well, a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And then I told myself, I'm going to give myself 2 years. And then if this doesn't work, then
you just could have quit.
Yeah, so now I've been a private chef for a year and a half. This is my second year. I haven't decided whether
I'm still curious about that one as well, being a private chef, and also because I'm sure you've been cooking for CEOs, cooking for maybe celebrities, you'll never know, presidents. So what's the journey like cooking in different also kitchens?
So my things, I love moving around. I love driving around. Hence I ended up. Hence I'm enjoying private chefing now. You would think I'm lying. I've been doing chefing for like 9 years now. But only last year I started being excited about it because now I get up in the morning, I drive to these beautiful homes, I get invited to Joburg and everyone pays for everything for me. So it's kind of fun traveling and seeing different spaces. Also the beauty about it is that you grow in a sense of you meet these different families. And most of them are not from South Africa, they're from different regions.
Okay.
And you kind of learn more about different cultures. And also, I'm a huge fan of love. So I kind of learn a lot of things from couples that come to this world, to this country together. And then I get to cook for them, how they communicate and how they do things. I learn, you know, those are things that I never saw my parents doing. And now I get to understand them from different clients that I cook for, which is like a win for me. You know, so it's quite beautiful and having someone from a different country that you thought had great food, and when they come to South Africa, Cape Town, and they eat your food and they get blown away, you know, they like really and all of that. And for me, I never take them seriously because I'm like, yeah, really, up until they keep on giving you other people's contacts who are coming down to the country.
So getting more clients, referrals and stuff like that.
I mean, look, last year, I'm going to talk about it now because he's not around. I got to cook for Vin Diesel. Imagine that.
What?
That was great. I was cold at home just chilling, and these guys are like, dude, we need you to come cook for Vin Diesel. Well, they didn't tell me what I was cooking for. They were like, oh yeah, you're cooking for a VVIP. And I'm like,
who's gonna be there?
Because that's what happens. I mean, as a chef, and I'm sure with whatever, I mean, with you as well, you're gonna be told at some point you're gonna be interviewing a VVIP, but they will never tell you who it is. And so you take those for granted because every time you see these VIPs, like, oh, these people.
So you know exactly what to expect.
And then I'll be cooking and the next thing this guy walks in, I was like, my jaw was like wide open. Like, so it was quite amazing, and I mean, I cook for a lot of different local celebrities as well.
So can you tell me like the highlights of your life thus far? Because I'm aware that you are runner at Top Chef SA and part of Afternoon Express as well. So what are the highlights of your life? You know,
the first highlight that I will always embrace very well with my whole being is being on Top Chef. Because as I said to you, I've hidden the information of me being a chef for the longest of time.
Yeah.
And then when Top Chef came, and bear in mind, we didn't apply for Top Chef. We just got calls randomly. And for me, it took me 3 weeks to decide whether I want to do it or not. Because I'm that person who I was like, there is no way I'm doing this. Imagine me going on TV and then getting sent home the first round. So
you were thinking of what people were going to say at the same time.
I'm always thinking
and
about
also you being a chef, you are afraid of being,
okay. And then I remember this guy, my chef, who this guy, but he passed away now. He was my mentor, the only mentor that I realized that he was on my mentor after he passes away. I was like, actually, that was my mentor. After I'm hearing more about what a mentor is and all of that. But anyways, moving on. So Top Chef came, and then it was going to be aired on TV. And then I was like, you know what, actually, it's useless for me to hide it now because it's out there.
Everyone can see it.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm saying Top Chef is like one of the biggest highlights of my life because it has allowed me to loosen up a bit and also embrace what I do and not care about what people think of it. Let me just make sure I leave my footprint, and whoever follows, they will follow. Whoever doesn't, as long as I'm happy with it. So Top Chef was one of those. And then from Top Chef, it was... actually, let's just say Top Chef, because everything else I'm so grateful for. Because I mean, I wanted to do pop-ups. I did pop-ups last year. They were successful, but I mean, I feel like there's more that could be done to them. You know what I mean? But I'm just grateful for the opportunities that I had to do those.
Before we talk about the pop-up that you were doing, like in Khayelitsha, did it look hotel, right? What was the response when you were part of Top Chef, also appearing on Afternoon Express from the community in Khayelitsha? Because everyone wants to become like a doctor, a lawyer. Those are the expected careers, but you were doing something totally different. So what was the response from?
Honestly, I don't know. I think a lot of people, even till today, I hardly get people that I know from the community who come to me and tell me these things. Sometimes I would hear someone say, oh, this person thinks this about you. But I would love for someone to come up to me and say, dude, great work.
I love what you do.
Exactly. I mean, anyone can just say anything to me just to make me feel good. But also at the same time, I'm not saying I'm relying on them to get the power and the strength to grow.
Sure.
I mean, I do get a lot of people that are not from Cape Town that are sending me stuff. People think I've got parents that send me emails saying that they want me to mentor their kids. They are so grateful that there's someone young and black and still having fun, but still respecting the industry that they're in, and also respecting the surroundings of the adults that are also involved in them. I mean, for us to get to where we are, sometimes, you know, you get people that pray for you that you don't even know.
Yeah.
So it's quite amazing. It's quite great. I mean, I go out, but mostly it's people that I went to school with. I mean, the fact that I grew up in Khayelitsha, and a lot of people that I bump into, it's people that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So you know how if you're on TV once, you're already a celebrity. That's what they're like, yeah, you're a celebrity, all of that.
Everyone talks about you. And
also now, I was that guy at some point, but now that I understood, it doesn't work like that. You know, it's a lot of work, and man. But I'm grateful for the journey.
Thank you so much, Aya.
Thank you, man.
But before we go, I think, what can you motivate or say to someone who's in Mpumalanga or KwaMashu that wants to become a chef, that sees Aya on Afternoon Express, and they don't know what to do, they don't have hope? What can you say to that young person?
There is no exact a recipe for it. But there are basics of it all, whereby I always say this to people: make sure that you work hard. Having talent is just a different thing.
Yeah.
But having talent and working hard, that's
Sure.
that's together. You can't just have a talent and not work hard. It's not gonna come to you in silver platters. So make sure you work hard. And it doesn't matter if you don't know what you do right now. You could be 20, 27, or 30. It doesn't matter, as long as you still have the strength to show up, be there,
Yeah.
make sure that you do something that's going to make you happy at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, you only have yourself.
Sure.
And so I always tell that to myself. I mean, you have your mom, you have your friends that are always there for you whenever you need something. But I always believe that at the end of the day, when you go sleep, when your stress is coming to you, you're alone in that bed, in that cushion. So you better motivate yourself. So be strong for yourself.
Thank you so much, bro, for your time. I enjoyed chatting to you,
man.
and hopefully, I wish you all the best with the future and what you are doing. You've heard it from Ayabonga Gope sharing his story, how he became a chef, from playing hip-hop PAs to becoming a private chef and celebrated in South Africa. To learn more about what we are about to do, follow Heavy Chef, www.heavychef.com.